I think Midnight Boom was our sort of hip-hop drum record. That's when I got an MPC 60 and I just decided that drums was where it was at. And actually, we have to have a bit of tension on every record, and it comes sometimes in deliberate ways, where we create a situation where it's tense, and sometimes it comes accidentally, like in Midnight Boom, where I spent so much time doing drums that Alison had to just go and get addicted to box sets of comedy shows, because I would literally be locked away for 8 hours.
I watched so many movies and so many TV shows.
It was one of the greatest points of my life. I love making drums, and on this record, I think it's got more of an African vibe. The drums. I'm all about Africa. I lived in Africa for years, so. Yeah, I did. I mean, the first couple of bands I was in was kind of, punk bands, indie punk bands, and there's a real sort of like white boy way of playing that I adopted, sort of like angular, kind of rhythmical, but just sort of, kind of punk. And then after that, I started this a band called Fiji, and I started exploring, because I was writing songs on my own, just started exploring what one man and a guitar could do, and you always get back to blues like that. There's a moment when when you're playing sort of indie or punk kind of guitar, you're really thinking about it. You've really got to play these. But when you play blues, you just wait for the rhythm to catch up with your heartbeat, and that's that. And then it just everything, your foot, your heart, your playing, it all goes in the same direction, and it's kind of nice feeling. Well, partly we did work on it quite a lot in the studio. I had like 7 or 8 amps set up.
7 amps?
Yeah. And then they all had different sounds. I had sort of 3 amps that were just dedicated to low end bass, and then I had 3 and I was playing through them all at the same time. And then my pedals were just pretty much selecting different amps.
Okay.
And then I had a delay pedal and stuff like that. But I don't know, that we did think about it a lot and worked on it, and had to sort of build things to make it work. But in another way, if you give me any guitar and any amp, you leave me alone with it for 5 or 10 minutes, I'll make them all sound the fucking same. No. Fascists.
Yeah. Are you the fascist one?
No, we both are. We take it in turns. It's a dictatorship that keeps getting overthrown. And I mean, in the studio, my power is in attack, really. And in the studio, that's where I'm the most effective, and that's where I overthrow her constantly, all the time, with all sorts of different ways of overthrowing her power. And she'll come up and, like, the rebels will try and take over sometimes, but I'm always there to fight it off. On stage, obviously, she's got far more artillery and pretty much blows me away every night.
Attitude.
I didn't hear it.
Attitude.
What about it?
An important word.
Yeah.
We kind of have used that word in describing ability, kind of attitude, ideas and attitude kind of over ability, not being the most perfect musicians, but meaning it when we do it, and caring about it and putting blood, sweat, and tears into everything, and that kind of being the attitude. It's kind of all or nothing, and it's not about getting wasted. That's not the attitude. It's more kind of being artists, being
Yeah, I mean, you're in a band where you feel like your virtuosity as a performer is important, or you feel like your ideas and your attitude are more important. And I think I'd have to say I think our attitude is more important, and our ideas are more important than our ability. I think we could. I was listening to that first Cure album, Three Imaginary Boys, the other day, and it's just there's no way you could write a record as brilliant as that if you'd learned how to play. You need to be struggling with how to play, and you need to be primitive, I think. I mean, I used to think that. I used to think that I needed to be miserable to make music, but I don't know. Blood pressure's just kind of changed my attitude, because I felt pretty happy out all that, and I think you did too. You know, we had a different kind of confidence. I don't think it's a...
I don't think there's any one way. I think all sorts of different things inspire you, and if you kind of latch on when something's inspiring you and do something with it at that moment, then you're going to have something great. It's harder when there's nothing in your mind and nothing's inspiring you, and you know nothing's going on. Good things can be going on, bad things can be going on. Something needs to be going on.